Buenos dias, señor, señora, and señorita. Wonderful to see you today. Thank you for listening. This message is coming from the heart of Dawn. I have a touching story to say this morning. I just got down to the beach, and I don't usually take calls from anybody until for a couple of hours, but I took a call from my grandson, Daniel, my oldest grandson. And a few years ago, it wasn't a very pretty situation for him. He had a lot of trouble dealing with his mom's death, my daughter Shelley's death. Never dealt with it in a healthy way, and he went sideways into crime and all of that, and ended up in prison. And that was a tough, tough time because he had two little girls. And and then I went to visit him. I went to visit him 3 times in prison, and it was interesting how um, one of the times that I went, here they are in a big room, and there was 6 tables, and each had their uh, there was 2 security guards there, whatever guards of some sort, and I just went at Daniel and told him he was destroying his life, and he could get his life around by doing this work that I'm doing, and he was open. He was open because I've been assisting him. I helped him be an entrepreneur from a little boy at 9, 10 years of age, cutting lawns in Prince Edward Island, and helping him he started in a couple of businesses and getting his flying license, and so we had quite a relationship. Anyway, here he is in prison, and here we are in this big room, and okay, Daniel, you're not going to make it, bud, if you don't do something. You got 2 little girls you got to take care of. And that's your responsibility, not the rest of the world, not your grandmother's or anybody else's. And so he was open, and I did something, and I did it right there, and it was pretty funny how there were 6 tables in each, families talking to the different ones, and so I actually did the process with him that time, and then I did it again, and then when he went into his halfway house, and I did that, I went to see him twice there, and I read him the riot act, and even spoke to all the people that were there, the ones that were taking the program. And then he ended up getting his life all back together. And I just got the call this morning, and he's into construction on PEI and running jobs and having a wonderful time with his 2 beautiful daughters, Millie and Brooklyn, and Millie is named after my mother. That was my mother's nickname. Anyway, it was just a wonderful, wonderful family call, and him telling me all the wonderful things, and getting his license back, and buying a car instead of stealing one, and and yeah, those things make my heart sing. And to know that I remember the one time that I went to see him in prison, and I had the option of Saturday and Sunday to visit. And I happened to go out from Vancouver it was over on Vancouver Island. And I went over, got the ferry over to see him. And I was talking to him in the morning, and he said, Grampy, if you had waited until tomorrow, I would have already done something destructive. Now, that's how perfect the divine timing is, everyone. That's it. That's the perfectness of divine timing. Especially if you're open. And Daniel could have said no. Daniel could have said no to those times, but he said yes to each one. And now he's got his 2 daughters back. Yeah, he's got a really good job, and is well respected by everybody. And he's a musician, and he's got tons and tons and tons of talent. Absolutely tons of talent. And now he's getting to use that. So anyway, No matter how dark it is, how bad it is, and how far you've gone down the rabbit hole, that dark ego energy, there's a way back. And having that I am divinity, instant and permanent transformation is it. So, anyway, for those of you interested in the instant transformation, we just finished the Spanish one yesterday, Giancarlo and I. And today is the English version of the I Am Divinity Instant and Permanent Transformation. It's 11 o'clock Pacific Standard Time and Cabo Time. They're both the same still till next week. Yeah, and it's available to you. Of course, you need to have seen at least 2 of the previous prep warm-ups, getting ready for it. But you could still do that as late as right now. You could watch, they're an hour and a half long, and you could be ready for 11 o'clock today and have your life transformed, just like Daniel has his life transformed. Yes. And the 20 that were on the call yesterday in Spanish. Yes. Yes, there was different ranges to the degree that they transformed, depending on their readiness. Yeah, depending on their readiness. And some were just so open and so receptive, and they were just, yeah, I just got it. And the others were kicking and screaming and throwing temper tantrums, trying to resist. That's the ego's way. Yeah. So anyway, here's your chance. Here's your chance to see that. Get on. They're on YouTube and they're on Facebook. And anyway, there it is. That's the instant and permanent. I am divinity, instant and permanent transformation by donation. And this message comes to you from the heart of Dawn. And if this is too late for you for this one, every Saturday in Spanish at 11 Cabo time, every Sunday in English Cabo time at 11, are the ones up until getting you ready for the transformation on the last Saturday of the month and last Sunday of the month. So there you have it. There is no excuses other than the ego convincing you it's not for you, and all of the million of reasons and excuses it will use to stop you. So there you go. Wonderful to Aline and Randy. Good to see you. And it's wonderful to watch people transform in front of your eyes. It absolutely is spectacular. It is. And I just shared one little story. I got a call. There was a mother took the program yesterday and her 2 daughters. And the mother and the daughter were in one city in Mexico, and the other daughter was actually in person doing it yesterday here in Cabo. And we all went together, the 8 of us went together for a bite to eat after. And she showed me a video. Now, keeping in mind, this little, I think she's about 13 or 14, was so distraught with this weight on her shoulders about the mom and the dad, and trying to be in the middle and taking on all that weight and responsibility and all of that. And here was a video about an hour and a half later, that after we finished, 2 hours later after we finished, here's the mother and daughter dancing in the living, and singing, and even the other daughter that was there that hadn't taken the program, and they were dancing and laughing and playing and singing. Yeah, you can have that. You can have that. Think about that. Think about them carrying all this weight, all this burden, all this toxicity, all this fear and anger and all of that. It was all gone. Now, it took a little longer yesterday. It was 3.5 hours or so, only because there was a few difficulties. But the one today, for example, is, I'm sure it'll be around 3 hours or less. So anyway, look forward to Emil, great to see you, bud. And look forward to seeing you. Having been on more calls and starting to get connected to these Sunday programs for English and the Saturday ones in Spanish. So there you have it. This message is from the heart of Dawn, and you have yourself a magnificent day. And if you can't see this, and or the other one is, if you happen to know someone that's got a terminal disease of any kind, I started a program. It's called You Are Your Cure to Your Terminal Disease. So there you have it. You know someone, reach out to me on Facebook and challenge that belief system that says they're going to die. Yeah, there's another way. Bye for now.